Sorry, it's kind of too close. My name's Chellie, and I'm going to take you on a tour a little bit of my bookshelf. This is probably a life warning for anybody who's like, oh, I can't wait till I'm older and I get to, spend all my money and buy all the books that I want to buy. This is a cautionary tale, so you kind of know what it is that you're getting into. It's pretty bad. The way that my shelves are organized is mostly by height of the book, and a little bit into genre. Fiction is together, contemporary is a thing, there's sci-fi, there's fantasy, there's nonfiction's a hot mess, and fantasy is in there as well. I no longer separate adult books versus young adult books. I was doing that for a while, but it's just become too complicated. I want to see, if I'm in the mood for sci-fi, I want to see all my sci-fi books together. If I'm in the mood for just general fiction, I want to see all my general fiction together. I do have a collection of manga and graphic novels, as well as tabletop books from movies, mostly Disney. Oh my god, let's get started. Okay, I don't even know really where to begin talking about my shelves. But I have a lot of shelves, a lot of books. We'll just start at the ones that are at the very top. All of these, with a couple of exceptions, are YA. They're not organized by genre. These just all happen to be the same height that I could put extra stuff on top of. I used to have like series I wanted to showcase up there, and it wasn't working, so I just put a bunch of ones that were all the same height, kind of up there up top. This shelf right here is supposed to be contemporary, but it's going to, there's not a lot of contemporary, so there's going to be this just kind of like a catch-all. I try to keep my hardcovers together, kind of push back. Everything used to be double stacked and I didn't like it because I couldn't find anything. This one's definitely just books are random, are gonna go wherever they want to go, but I try to keep everything that's the same height together, as you'll notice when we go through the rest of the shelves. So the one underneath it are kind of all of my classics that I had from Borders, rest in peace, and that I also got from Barnes & Noble. Right, underneath it, this is a continuation of fantasy. I tried to do everything by subject as best I could. And again, you can see that all of these are kind of the same height, and I was able to tuck some that were left over that kind of fall in this genre. There's some of it that's a little sci-fi that came over because sci-fi is a pretty big section. I did my best. And, recently finished this, The Chronicles of Prydain. Highly recommend. I cannot believe my parents, they fail at life for not letting me or introducing me to it when I was younger. But yeah, those are some more of the science fiction. Here is the bottom shelf of science fiction. You're about to see a cat, I'm sure. She's gonna get in the way. And these are all, again, up at the same height. And these Stephen King's horror, there wasn't like, I have enough horror where they could be its own shelf, but I don't have a shelf to make just for horror. So they got added with science fiction or fantasy if they kind of dealt, if they were kind of close to either one of those. So because these are kind of the, oh my god, these are so big kind of books. And we'll put all that life goals, guys. The 3 shelfer, yay! Up top here I have my Cassandra Clare's. They used to go up at the very top, but I've located them here because I know she's going to continue writing and I know I'm going to continue reading, so I'll just move them over for now. And then tucked away there in the corner are the Nevermore series by Chellie. Here is some manga. This is pretty much shonen or boys manga. All actiony. We have Attack on Titan, Bakuman, Blue Exorcist. You can read the titles. I don't need to go through all of them. And yes, you can tell that these are double stacked. So there's more Bakuman and Blue Exorcist behind there. Down here, it looks pretty like, oh wow. You have fairy tale. Yeah, I have fairy tale. Hiro Mashima is kind of like one of my favorite mangaka of all time. So here's a continuation of. I'm saying it's a continuation of contemporary. It's kind of difficult. Yeah, it is pretty much contemporary. Um, but yeah, these are all pretty much. Yeah, they are pretty much all contemporary books there. And then here are some more literature. And I'm so sorry that this stuff is all over the place, but like I literally have no more room. Um, so let's get a look at these paperbacks before I kind of shuffle them around. Alright, so let's get a better look at all this fiction. I could probably make this into a rainbow shelf, but here is the first shelf, officially of science fiction, with some of my recently purchased Pulitzers. All of these Japanese translated books. They're all science fiction. I think that one's kind of fantasy. But yeah. Kind of a closer look at what we have here. These are all the same height. And I could probably, since there's a bunch of blank space up there, organize some extra hanging hardbacks or some of these paperbacks a little bit better. Scott Westerfeld's. I love this Atlantis series. So sorry for the weird angle on the bottom shelf because my couch is in the way. But these are all the same height. These are all science fiction. I have these right here. Move out of the way a little bit. Some translated works. Lots of different sci-fi. The Match series. Map of Time. And of course the classic Dune. Here's a fiction shelf. It's just a hodgepodge of all different things. That's Bartimaeus. No, that's actually different genre. See, it's this is bad. Some more fiction with a little bit of mystery tied in. Some highly recommended paperbacks here. I am not a very discerning reader, if you have not noticed already. Mystery / literature. Oh my gosh. Bunch of big books that I just really haven't had the chance to get to. The All Souls trilogy, they're front and center. I absolutely loved that series. Two of my favorite authors on this shelf. Tom Rob Smith's Child 44 is probably one of the books that I've recommended the most to everybody in the world who I've ever met. And Robert Harris. Oh, and Christopher Farnsworth. Read Nathaniel Cade. He is required reading if you want to talk to me. That's a lie. More mystery down here. I have not read The Cuckoo's Calling. I have not read any of that. John Case. These were spines that called to me at half-price books. I had to buy them. Love them. Unfortunately, they'll never make any more. Because it was a writing pseudonym for a writing duo, a husband and wife team, and she passed away. But they are definitely very good books. Here are the Penguins and kind of odd and end books I didn't know where to put really. Some from my childhood, like the Dark is Rising series, and we have Alvin the Secret Code. Yeah, just old books on mythology. I just don't know where to put these books kind of shelf. Here's where everything in nonfiction gets kind of messy. These are some of the science, general science and technology, start of true crime and memoirs. They're all, nonfiction's all over the place. Try to keep it by like kind of what type of nonfiction, then did book size. It's all filled. The whole shelf is filled. Obviously, because I have some Stephen King over here. Yeah. There's a lot of nonfiction. And down to the next one, we have even more. Here's where we're getting into memoir / history. Tons and tons and tons of nonfiction and true crime. And here's even more. Oh my god, they're everywhere. This is so overwhelming. Some pretty amazing, intense reads. There's all of that. And take a closer look at this. Yes, more biographies, history. Last shelf of this set of bookcases. General history. My interest in history is everywhere. Asian history, love it. Some American history, love it. Asian, or I already said Asian, but European history, Russian history, anything kind of circling around World War II, I'm probably going to read it. And paleontology. It's just everywhere. Okay, on to the long shelf. Yay! More YA. It's everywhere. Starting over here, this is not YA, but it is the Magician series by Liv Grossman. These 3 books, amazing. Everyone loves them though, so we don't have to talk about that. James Dashner, Pittacus Lore, Marie Lu, all the Rick Riordans, all the Rick Riordans. We got the Michael Grants, Harry Potters, yay! I have not read Throne of Glass yet. I'm so looking forward to it though. I have read A Court of Thorns and Roses, however. Hunger Games, Grisha Trilogy, and Mythology by Edith Hamilton, which should be by Percy Jackson, but that's okay. Here is manga part 2. These are all kind of the shoujo comics, girl comics, and they are also double stacked. I don't know that I can get those all back in there, so I'll just leave them down. But yeah, tons of series. The next shelf of manga. Here's some of my anime. These are also double stacked. Some very cute series. These are all comics and art related books. So up top I have the complete Calvin and Hobbes, which was gifted to me for I think my birthday or Christmas by a relative. A very old edition of the Texas Rangers by Walter Prescott Webb that I found in my grandmother's garage when she passed away and I was helping my mom clean it out. Here is graphic novels. Here are all my trade paperback graphic novels. Here are some art books. More art books. Even more art books. Over here I have all the leatherbacks and some of the high fantasy that just will not go anywhere else. All of the Everyman's Library books that I have, which is the entire Jane Austen catalog, and the Foundation series by Isaac Asimov. So that's all of my books. That's a lot. I have no idea how many I have. I know that will be a question, and I'm going to have an answer to that question one day. I know that there are definitely more books that I have not read than I have read on my shelves, so that's pretty tragic, I think. The thing you should know is I am a reformed hardback snob. They look nicer on the shelf, they really do, and I didn't like the idea of, because I didn't want to be like really selfish about the literature that I read. I wanted to be able to share it with people, but I find that people crack the spines on paperbacks. I don't like the lines that come down the spines of them. Seriously, it was until January 2016, so this year, that I was only hardback books, and I really wanted to read the Paper Magician series by Charlie Holmberg. Which is only available in paperback, so I said, okay, fine, I'll read it. It's okay. I know how to handle my paperback books, even if nobody I would loan this book to knows how to handle them. And then I read them, and I was like, paperback's not that bad. Such a travesty. I've always been okay with nonfiction being in paperback form, but my fiction needed to be hardback. My interests are all over the place. I don't want to say I'm eclectic because I feel like that makes me feel kind of snobbish, but I definitely like a bunch of different things to read. I want to read something in American history. I want to read something in American history about the bomb or the Depression or slavery, that kind of thing. So I am very conscientious of the genres and the subgenres and the subgenres to try to get to the thing that I really want to know, because I think that the things that you're interested in are kind of what drives the types of books you get. So yes, that was my shelf. I guess if you have any questions about a particular book on my shelf or anything about my shelf, feel free to leave a comment below. See you next time.